and welcome back to the club. I'm one of your hosts, Katie Hoyt, and I am joined by my best girl, Miss Utah herself, Miss Ashlyn Clark Gober. Ash, how are you doing?
I am doing wonderfully. We just caught up on weeks of topics together on our wrap-up episode. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can skirt on over to our wrap-up. It was so much fun. We talked about a bunch of pop culture stuff. We talked about books that we're reading and that Katie recommends since she's a little bit more of an avid reader these days than me. And overall, it's just given me a new outlook on life, like a new little joie de vivre. I don't know. It's just really recharged me.
Yeah, I agree. It's always fun to just chat with your girlie, and we had a lot, I feel like I haven't talked to you a ton lately, so we had a lot that we needed to discuss.
No, because I'm busy as fuck, because I decided I was going to go into medicine, discussing, if you are listening to this and you're considering going to residency, find a job elsewhere. This shit sucks.
Go into pharmacy or something where you can be in the medical field, but still have a normal schedule.
Yeah, well, they have residency too, so I don't know if that's totally true, but yeah, think of I don't know, stocks or something, do something that you can do from home.
An influencer.
Anyway. Oh my God. Yeah. You should all just be influencers.
Yeah, totally.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
But nothing really new or crazy going on with me that we haven't already talked about. What about you?
Yeah, same. We talked about this on our wrap-up episode, but my house did get struck by lightning. If you would like to hear more about that, head on over and we go in depth a little bit more about that. But you'll notice my background is unrecognizable, and that is because I'm at my in-laws' house and they are so gracious to let us live here again for the third time, and that's that. I don't want to rehash it again. It's a little traumatizing. So yeah.
I don't know that I've heard unrecognizable used in a derogatory way before. But I'm living for it. I was thinking I might look a little unrecognizable because my double chin is a little bit kind of gone because I don't have time to eat anymore. But
love that.
Yeah, if you're wondering if I look super skinny like that, yeah, I do. And
it's because
stop with the rumors. It's so crazy.
It's because she has to walk 6 miles into and back to her car every day, into work and back to her car every day.
Let me just tell you, and whenever I get off work, it's 100 degrees. That's not an exaggeration. It's 101 very often. I just purchased sunscreen to put on before I walk back to my car every day because I get off around 5 or 6, but the UV here is so much higher than it is in Alabama. And so I'll get off at 5:30 and the UV will be fucking 7. And I'm okay, I guess I'll get melanoma.
Yeah, no, it's not great. And also the other day it rained on your way back to your car and you were literally a wet rat. Hair, you didn't need to wash it that night.
Soaked. I didn't wash it that night. It looked so good. I don't know how to explain it. It made my hair so smooth, and I have naturally pretty wavy hair, and I'm this is what those bitches that dunk their head in the water after they put all their products in, this is what they're doing.
Totally.
Now I get it.
Totally.
So that was quite the experience. I'm interested to see what it's going to be like whenever it starts snowing. I guess I'll just I have a really big drawer at work. I might just leave my work shoes in there and then put on boots to go to and fro the car.
So smart, especially because what if there's ice? You almost need spikes to put on the bottoms of your shoes. You're gonna have to learn how to penguin walk. Do you know that? Yeah, so I don't really either, but one of our companies at work, we have one in North Dakota, but the one in Minnesota, I'm on their email, their corporate email chain, and they're always snow and ice safety, remember to penguin walk, and you're supposed to walk sideways and waddle whenever you're walking over potentially treacherous spots on the pavement. Yeah. So you're gonna have to learn. Imagine you have to penguin walk the whole journey into the building.
No, it would take me, I'm not exaggerating, it would take me 30 minutes to penguin walk my way, but I will show up with spikes. I'm not afraid. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about me and Katie. I'm skinny and she has no HVAC system.
Yeah. Yeah. I will be skinny soon because I'm just like sweating my ass off every time I go over to my house. So like detox, she's here to stay.
Queen.
Yeah.
Queen.
Oh,
So
me.
another thing, actually, I totally lied when I said there's nothing new with me because I got a Findle.
I cannot believe we haven't talked about this yet.
Yeah, I'm so lit. So, if you watched the last episode on YouTube, I was literally using my laptop to look at we do a Google Doc for like notes about the book. And I had an iPad and we dropped it whenever we were moving. Jake, dropped it on the concrete whenever we were moving into our apartment and it shattered. Probably for the best. It was from like 2013, so I literally couldn't download Instagram, Twitter, like nothing. I couldn't do it. I couldn't even have TikTok on it. So I was like, I guess I'll get a new tablet. And then Prime Day came and went and I totally forgot about getting a tablet. But then Katie, I realized that she got hers on QVC.
Mm-hmm.
We always called it the QVC. So I looked up QVC and they had a deal. So I got the big ass one, 17 inch. It is huge. So I probably won't actually read on it, which is not really what I got it for. I got it for like normal standard tablet things. Yeah. But so far I'm loving.
Wait, so you're not reading on it?
No, I don't read on things. I read books.
Okay.
I got this for this and for work because I like need to draw things sometimes for work. So it has they have one of those like pins that comes with it. It didn't come with it, sorry. They have one of those pins that they make for it that's compatible to do drawings and stuff. You did not tell me I was going to have to literally jailbreak it to get Google Docs to download.
That's probably because I always just like go on the browser and just like go to my Google Drive that way.
Gotcha. I wanted the app and I had to go through like a 30-minute process of like jailbreaking this hacking into the mainframe of this Amazon tablet.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I probably should have told you. And you know what? You've mentioned that to me and I think I just didn't register. And I was like, oh, dang, that sucks knowing that I pull mine up with ease every single time.
Yeah. Well, now it works beautifully. If you want me to send you, I think it was like a Geek Squad link that had like everything to do. It just took a while because you had to download all this software.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, today I'm thankful for the Geek Squad and thank you for my Findle. I did ship it to the wrong address. So my address is 1560 and I shipped it to 1650. So I had to walk down the road when I got the shipping or the confirmation of the delivery. Walked down the road. I walked with Jake and Susanna, so I looked like unassuming. And I saw the box, and I was like, "What if they have a camera?" So I knocked on the door and told them, "Like, I'm so sorry, I shipped my package to your house. I just didn't want you to think someone was stealing something from you." And she's like, "Oh, you're fine."
Oh my! I was actually gonna ask if they had a camera. If you said like, "Hey," I was just gonna let you know. Like, I can't believe you knocked on the door.
Well,
that's crazy.
Well, they didn't have a camera that I could see. So Jake was like, just not like, better to be safe than sorry. So I just knocked and it was fine. It was a young girl, thankfully, but I was like, this is going to be an old person that's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
But no, it actually worked out. I'm just like a fucking dumbass as usual.
Well, I mean, it's a new address, so you get a pass this time.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
So are you reading anything on your Kindle right now?
Oh my God. I have been reading. It has been my only escape from the actual hell that the like literal actual 7th layer of hell that we have been living in. Not living in, but that is our home. I have been reading up a storm. So let me tell you, I read this book called Nocticadia by Carrie Lake. Oh my God. It's a dark academia romance. It was serious. It is my perfect book. I love academia, dark academia.
Okay. Can someone explain to me what the fuck that means? Everyone keeps talking about it.
It means it happens like
when
at
I say
a
everyone,
school.
I mean you. I heard it. Okay. So Zodiac Academy, dark academia.
Yes, exactly. Like even like Harry Potter would be deemed like academia. But dark academia, it's professor student. And like, oh my God, like it is seriously so good.
It's not creepy.
It's creepy. That's what I was about to say. I need to give a trigger warning because I've recommended this to a couple people and everyone has been like, whoa, you didn't tell me that it had. So it talks about parasites a lot. Now, I have no like qualms about like parasites. That doesn't bother me. I will literally watch on Instagram a girl digging through her toilet when she did a parasite cleanse to like look and see what all she had inside of her bowels. I mean, that doesn't bother me, but you need to know it's got parasites in it. They're worms, black worms.
You're like, what's the big
Yeah,
hullabaloo about
yeah.
a worm?
Like,
Like, who gives a fuck?
we all have worms inside of us. I don't know if you're aware.
We don't. This is a thing. This is a thing that is like, kind of like in the mainstream of holistic TikTok and Instagram. We don't have worms, and I've seen inside of people's colons. They're not like, we don't have those.
Okay, the girls that
Like-
do the parasite cleanses, they have tapeworms inside of them.
So you've sent them to me.
Yeah.
Those are not tapeworms. Those don't have worm heads. Like, I told you that when you sent it to me. Those are not tapeworms. I've seen a tapeworm.
What are they?
That is not gastric. That is colonic buildup. It's like basically sludge that gets stuck in the walls of your colon.
I'm not talking about the brown things. These are like the white, long, little tiny, skinny tapeworms. The girls be shitting them out. I promise. I'll send you a
I don't
video
believe
next
it.
time.
There's so many negative side effects of having a tapeworm in you. Like, it's a hospitalizable
Yeah.
thing. It's not like, oh, I'm hanging out at home and I'm bloating. Like,
Yeah.
it's I'm losing 50% of my body fat.
I'll send you the next time I see a girly with a tapeworm. But anyway, all that to say, like, if parasites freak you out, I don't know. Like, that's strange. It's literally fiction. But anyway, Nocticadia, so good. I also read a book called A Touch of Golden Madness. I could not tell you who the author was. It was a little bit more sci-fi. It was good, but it wasn't amazing. But then I've read,
Good, but not great.
yeah, I've read The Paradise Problem, and I've also read This Summer Will Be Different. Both great, really easy, like, romance books. And then I read Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood, and the way it was trash. Now, it was spicy, but it was literally not good. There like was barely a plot. So
I have not read anything by her since I read The
Love on the Brain.
Hypothesis. Was that the one that Love on the Brain?
Yeah.
She has a couple others, but what you said, this one was which one?
Not in Love.
Not in Love. Okay. Yeah, I feel like she writes okay spice, but usually she has a plot. I mean, sometimes it takes a weird, insane turn, but but usually there is a plot. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was truly not good, and I can't in good faith recommend it, but that's what I've been reading. How about you?
So I'm also reading The Paradise Problem. We talked about it a little bit on the last episode. That was an accident. I was going to say it for this one because I feel like it's getting a big moment, but so far I'm not like super impressed. The plot ideas are good. Like, I really enjoy what's happening with the plot. It's just there's just some things I don't like love about it, but I want to wait until I've actually finished it to give my full review. I don't want to talk shit about it and then end up like loving it later on.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes it just takes a minute to grow on you.
Yeah, totally. And you said you're what, like 4 or 5 chapters in?
I said that. I think I'm actually maybe 80 pages in now.
Okay. So
I forgot that I read a bunch last night.
Okay, so you're a decent ways in. I think that you'll end up really liking it. I mean, it might not be a favorite, but I mean, it's a rom-com. Like,
yeah, I was just looking for something like, a little light and airy, but this one is like a little too corny so far, but maybe it'll get better.
Yeah. No, I think that you'll end up liking it. I think that the end, when everything like really starts to break down, I think it gets really good. So you'll like it.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah. So
wonderful.
This book that we are here to talk about today is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. And if you are ready, we can go ahead and jump in.
Yes, I am very ready. Do you want to do author biography or book synopsis?
I will do the author biography. So this book is by Callie Hart, Callie Hart is a USA Today best-selling author of dark romance novels. She is an obsessive romantic who loves throwing a dark twist into her stories. Her characters are imperfect, flawed individuals who dictate when she eats, sleeps, and breathes. She loves to travel and often pens her books when she's on the road, drawing inspiration from her surroundings. And then you also put in here that she writes a lot of dark romance series and has a reading order on her website if that's something that the girls are interested in. So, first of all, I just want to point out that she said her characters are imperfect, flawed individuals, which is literally the exact same thing. So, I don't know about that.
They can't be both, Katie. Come on. Yeah, the fact that she's saying that her books dictate when she eats, sleeps, and breathes, babe, get a grip.
Yeah.
You're an author, not like a fucking NASA scientist. But anyway, self-published. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like this is what you're doing for millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
So I want to say that I did put in here that she has a reading order on her website, which I thought was so nice. It's great whenever authors have that, but hers are like actual series. So like 3 or 4 books per story. And then I don't know if they feed into each other or if like, you know, if they're the same world. I don't know exactly how that works. They look like fucking smut. Like there's one of them that like, it literally looks like they're having sex on the cover. Like these books look like trashy, but like some people were into that. So okay. I want you to know that she has what you are looking for if you are into that.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, she says that she writes like more dark romance. So, and honestly, like, I don't want to get into the book too quickly, but after reading this book, I can definitely see that she probably writes a lot of spicy books.
Yeah. So I know I said that she has the reading order on there and that she writes dark romance, but these look like slutty. Like literally, this one's called Dirty and the sequel's called Nasty.
What?
And the last one's called Freak.
Okay.
And there's literally like, you can't see it because I can't zoom in, but the one of them has like a girl like getting it from behind on the front. So it's what it looks like, kind of.
Are you just like on her website?
Nasty.
What's the website, Callie Hart?
Yeah, but like it says reading order, so for some reason I can't like zoom in on that one. I try to go to books, but I don't see. I wonder if I can just look up Nasty by Callie Hart and show y'all. But this is like insane.
Nasty. Okay, I do see there's like a you can buy the 3-book set, I guess, called Dirty Nasty Freaks.
Yes. Oh my god.
Wait, I have to see.
Well, no, it's like...
Sorry, this is probably annoying for people listening, but I absolutely have to see this.
Oh my god. Here it is. Oh my god. It's so reflective. But like imagine you're in the airport trying to enjoy your day and someone sitting across from you has this out.
Dirty Nasty Freaks.
Dirty Nasty Freaks.
Yeah, no one has to wonder about what you're
absolutely
reading.
Insane.
That is so funny.
Right.
I mean, good for her, you know?
So crazy. No, good for her. And I'm sure this is, you know, lucrative business.
Totally. I mean, I don't know. She's independently published, so maybe it's not.
Right.
But
so true.
But
yeah, if anyone's interested in like things of the like, Dirty Nasty Freaks, Wrecked, all that kind of stuff, this could be the website for you. And it also has, like I said, a reading order, which is very important, you know, to help people, you know, follow that. I'm sure it's a very dense, very hard to follow plot
100%. You probably couldn't figure it out. So it's a good thing she's got that on her website to help guide you. Okay. Do you want to read our book synopsis?
Yes. Okay. So 24-year-old Sarah Spain is good at keeping secrets. No one knows about the strange powers she possesses or the fact that she's been picking pockets and stealing from the Undying Queen's reservoirs for as long as she can remember. But a secret is like a knot. Sooner or later, it is bound to come undone. When Sarah comes face to face with the death himself, she inadvertently reopens a gateway between realms and is transported to a land of ice and snow. The Fae have always been the stuff of myth, of legend, of nightmares, but it turns out they're real. And Ceres has landed herself right in the middle of a centuries-long conflict that might just get her killed. The first of her kind to tread the frozen mountains of Avelia in over 1,000 years, Ceres mistakenly binds herself to Kingfisher, a handsome Fae warrior who has secrets and nefarious agendas of his own. He will use her alchemist's magic to protect his people no matter what it costs him or her.
Okay. The first couple paragraphs, I was like, this isn't too bad. Why did she literally ruin it at the end? Like,
I don't know. That's what I thought too. I haven't read this yet. So I was like, wow, this is actually good. And then when she's like, oh yeah, she binds herself. Like, what the fuck?
what? And then says like, he will use her alchemist magic. No one know if you're just reading the synopsis, no one knows what alchemist magic is.
You should know she's an alchemist.
And like, it's like, is good at keeping secrets. Like she literally didn't know. She wasn't keeping it a secret. Like she didn't know that she was an alchemist.
That's such a good point. She didn't know she was an alchemist, but she did know that she like could fuck with metal. But
yeah,
it wasn't like it wasn't like she was actively hiding this every day.
No, I don't know. It started off strong, and then by the end, I was like, wait, like no, stop. She should have stopped.
Yeah,
sooner.
Enough.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't know. I mean, I don't have much to say about that besides like,
yeah, it's fine.
you ruined it, but not you, but you know, her.
Right. I will give her another set of what's it called? I'll just give her more props about. She does have at the very beginning of the book that little pronunciation guide.
Mm-hmm.
Loved that. There were a couple that I forgot and had to go back and look at,
Yeah.
but there were a couple that I was like, I wish I had a pronunciation for this.
Well, that was my biggest thing. If you're going to have a pronunciation guide, put everybody in there. I mean, maybe not for like Hayden or Elroy, like those names people can generally figure out, but there were a lot not on there. And maybe she thought like they were similar enough to some of the other names that we could figure it out for ourselves. Like, no, babe, we're stupid. You have to tell us.
Please, because I don't want to have to go to the audiobook, 50% through this thing, like I have before, and then it just be saying it all wrong. But
yeah, and
that didn't have to happen, so I got to live in my little fantasy world of saying things how I wanted.
Exactly. But you know what? I actually think this book is not on audiobook because my friend Abby wanted to read it and she was like, I can't find it on audio anywhere. So I don't know that she has an audiobook version. Now, granted, I think it literally just came out in like June. So that would make sense.
I was like, this is so popular. Why would it not have an audiobook? I mean, I know it is self-published, but still, I mean, the one that we just read last month was, and they had a really good audiobook. So maybe it's just in the works.
Yeah, totally. I feel like she's going to end up I think that this will be picked up by a traditional publisher. So
I think so too.
I'm certain that it'll be coming, but especially with all the TikTok hype, I mean, somebody's going to have to pick it up. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like, but I guess it makes sense. Like the audiobook always comes out later than the print or the ebook. So yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into our character lineup. So we will start with Miss Ceres, our female main character. How did you feel?
Okay, Ceres, I liked her, but I feel like she still has character development to do. Like she's still like coming into her own, I feel like. And maybe a lot of that was just because she was kind of thrown into this, and I'm not exactly certain the time frame during which the book takes place, but it doesn't seem like it's very long. So maybe she's just still adjusting and trying to figure out like what this new normal is. But I felt like she was so obsessed with getting back home, which is, I mean, that's totally understandable, but she like couldn't develop herself in this new place. And she's also like a little bit emotionally unstable for me. I don't know how else to put it. Like, she just kind of teetered back and forth from like really extreme emotions, not just like, oh, like I forgive you or I'm mad at you, but like I love him, I hate him, this guy sucks, this guy's awesome, just like she was very polarizing back and forth. But I did like her overall. Those are just my critiques.
So I actually felt the exact opposite way. I absolutely loved her. This is the first female main character that I have like really liked in a very, very long time. It didn't like pain me to be inside her head, one of the things that I liked the most about her is that I felt like the way that she felt was like actually realistic. Like if somebody's getting on your nerves, to be like, God, like they're so attractive and it's pissing me off so bad. Like they're such a dick, which he was. But I felt like she was really emotionally stable and really like
That's
realistic about things.
crazy. So I guess
Yeah.
here's the thing. This book took you 2 days to read.
If that.
I was simmering with it for weeks, like 2 weeks.
So true.
So I think that really changes your outlook on the way someone impacts you.
I totally
is
agree.
Changed by
Yeah.
how long you spend with them. And so like by the middle of the book, I've been in this game for a week at this point, and I'm like, babe, we know he's a dick and he's cute. Like you have to like separate those things. And I felt like she wasn't good at separating those things. But again, like I'm just going into my critiques because that's what I'm used to doing. But seriously, she was a really good female main character. I really liked her. The only thing, other thing that I had written down for her, well, let me see. Oh, I wonder if you feel this way. I feel like maybe Callie Hart doesn't have a bitch in her life, like someone who's like actually mean.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because her like little quips and comebacks were not actually mean. Like she never really said something that like hit you where it hurt, but like in the moment, like it felt that way. I think at the very beginning, whenever she sees Fisher in the library or whatever, and she's looking at a sword and he's like, don't look at my sword or whatever. And she says something about it being like a pincushion or something. I can't remember the exact phrasing, but it was not like a comeback. But then like everyone in the room was like, oh, blah, blah.
Okay.
Like, babe, learn to be insulting.
Okay. I did not notice that initially, but like you're right. I would not necessarily consider Saris to be somebody who's like really gonna like grind your ass, like get all over you about anything. To me, I thought like immediately from the very beginning, I was like, oh, this girl's funny. Like what I liked about her is that she was extremely realistic. I hate when you go into a book and the female main character is like, but I'm a trained assassin. I could kick his ass. Like, you know, I literally hate that. And I felt like her level of like her own understanding of herself was really even killed. Like she knew exactly who she was. Like when she's fighting that guard at the beginning, she's like, okay, like he's trained, but I know I can take him. And it never really came to that. But to me, she was just like funny in a realistic way, and I think that definitely lent itself to her like not having the personality to be like really quippy and just like giving insults that really stuck. I didn't necessarily feel like I was missing that aspect, but you're totally right, like she didn't have that.
Yeah, I totally missed it. I agree with you. I really, really enjoy when the female main character has some like knowledge. Like you're not gonna beat up a fae warrior, you know what I mean? Like she's very much realistic in that way, and that I appreciate. But I just think if you're gonna make her have a comeback at all, which you did write one, like make it a real one. Like watch a movie with somebody who's mean, like figure it out. Ask the bitchiest person you know, like what would you say in this instance?
Maybe she doesn't like have trauma, so she doesn't know how to like really get at
get
people.
Them where it hurts. Oh fuck my! Oh, there we go. It's back.
Yeah, but so this is where I kind of like got, I don't know, things got a little hairy for me. So she didn't do the whole, no, it's impossible. I can't have powers. I'm just a mere human. She didn't have that. She was just like, I've always known that I've kind of had this thing, but it's always been unexplained. Like, I don't know. And like, I don't know how to use it. All of that was realistic. What was not realistic to me was, did she ever one single time check up and say like, how is this possible? Like, what is my real heritage? There has to be something going on here. Like, she never even has that thought at all. And I was like, so nobody here is like, who's your mom? Like, do you know who fathered? Like, no one even thought to think of that. And I was like, wait, no, this is important. Why is no one talking about this?
I completely agree. Like, where did it come from? Why are you so important? I also felt like the ending was it worked out well at the ending, but what the fuck was the like all of a sudden she's like with the god of chaos and the twins out of thin air. I was like, what the fuck? Why are you such a big player in the universe? Like as a whole?
Totally.
But
Totally.
you just came from like some random human town.
Yeah.
And why is nobody looking into that to try to figure out what the fuck?
Totally. I think that like, and I'm also trying to give grace because this is obviously the first book in the series. And so you have to have like some of these questions.
But something should be answered in the first book, you know?
I completely agree with you. Like I also thought that the ending, it worked out well that like she's now, I guess, fae, but also like vampire. And then I don't know if she's technically still human. I don't know. But I was happy that at the end with the vampire bite, we didn't end on like a Breaking Dawn type situation where she just wakes up and you don't get
her eyes.
Yeah, where you don't get like any extra information after that. I felt like this was the perfect ending. Like there's a lot of stuff set up moving forward, but it's not necessarily like a cliffhanger. I really enjoyed that about this book. And I also felt like she set up with the gods really well. Like she brings it up at the beginning, but kind of never really talks about it again because it's not important, not because she did a poor job developing it. It's just like,
yeah, it was not really
vital
part of the story, really.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like she did a great job. But speaking of that scene at the end, so I just watched The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes like 2 nights ago, maybe. And there is a scene in that movie. So this is like potentially going to be a spoiler, but it's after the Hunger Games ends and he gets sent to District 12 to like be a peacekeeper. And he meets that girl outside and they're like on a rolling hill and there's like a big tree and it's like blue skies and tall grasses. It is quite literally that scene depicted on screen if you need like any kind of visual on what that looked like.
That's so true. I didn't even think about that. That's like the perfect. I'm sure that felt crazy to you, like deja vu watching it happen after you already pictured it in your head.
Exactly, especially because I had just finished the book like I'm going to say the day before. So it was wild to see. As soon as it popped up on the screen, I'm like,
hello,
the universe is trying to tell me something.
Oh,
literally, it was the craziest thing. But I really liked that. I also loved the Quicksilver's personality, and I wrote that note before we found out that the Quicksilver was, what's his name? The god?
Fisher?
No.
Oh, chaos?
Yeah, the god of chaos. I liked the Quicksilver's personality and like all the voices and stuff before I knew that it was like actually him or them. I don't know if the twins are part of it too because it's multiple voices.
So I just pretended that part didn't happen because like the Quicksilver is the Quicksilver. It is separate. Like
yeah.
So weird.
I agree.
Like,
yeah.
I'm so confused by that. But I also thought I'll put this here too. Like I liked the ending where she's like not fae, not vampire, kind of half and half. But also it set up a really good spot for her to find out that she was half fae or something. You know, like to find out more about her background, and they just didn't do that. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next. I love that, what's his name? Taladeus, the son, like has always been against Malcolm and now he's, I guess, joined them. I don't know. Like I was obviously nervous about it at the end. Like, oh my God, no, she can't be a vampire. But now I'm just like, what's the worst that can happen? Like he's normal.
Yeah,
so it seems like
I feel
it's going to be fun.
It's going to be good. And it's going to like kind of put some new dynamics into the mix.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really excited about her being a vampire.
Yeah, same.
She's kind of entering her Twilight era. I'm so happy for her.
Yeah.
So same. Yeah, but overall, like, which I know we're talking about characters, so not really applicable here, but like the book oops, sorry, I had a hiccup. The beginning of the book where it starts out like dystopian human, like with the queen, it's like, it's just like, I love that. Like I love Divergent. I love Hunger Games. It was giving that. And I'm kind of wanting it to go I kind of wanted to stay there for a bit. I wasn't really ready to give that part up.
Yeah.
But I was happy to like end her suffering and stuff. But still, like I kind of want to go back and see what's happening there.
I agree. Like, I really do hope that they can get back. And I'm sure that they will at some point. They got to go check on Hayden and do all of that kind of business. But I'm the exact same. I was like, oh, this is good. It's like it's giving the districts in Hunger Games, like exactly like the hub in the middle is the capital, and then all the spokes or the wards or whatever they are, the districts. I love that. I also felt like our time was too short lived. Like whenever she goes to Evelia and they're like, no, you can't go back. Like, you live here now. I was like,
I know. I was like, hello. Like,
yeah,
we just built up all of that world for nothing almost.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
I don't think it's nothing.
excited.
I think we'll go back and kind of hash out everything with Miss Girl.
Yeah, totally.
So I think it'll be set up for that already, which is nice.
Yep.
Okay, do you want to move on to the next person? We have I just put Kingfisher second because it seemed like the most relevant person to put next.
Yeah, yeah. So I've already kind of
I want to hear what
this,
you have to say.
Okay. He really was like such an asshole at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was like getting so mad. Like, she literally couldn't say anything, even if she was not trying to be like annoying or like get at anybody. He still would just like give her shit back. And I was like, okay, like seriously, stop. But obviously at the same time, I'm like eating it up because I'm like, no, I'm obsessed. Like, I want you to absolutely hate her at the beginning. So I loved it, but I was frustrated like on her behalf. But
Yeah.
I loved how they came together. Like, I felt like the pacing for me was perfect. I loved like the backstory of how he knew the whole time. I loved finding out at the end that when he saw her, he was like, you have to be kidding me. Like, there's no way this is the woman that my mom saw.
I absolutely loved learning that. Like, because there was one point where she was like, why didn't you just leave me to die? And he was like, I couldn't, could I? Like, I had to save you. Like,
Yeah.
like, this is your fucking fault. Like, I had to save you. And you could tell he was like just pissed off at her and she didn't really know why. So whenever you like get to retrospectively realize like he was just pissed that this was literally his mate. And he's like, you're fucking dying in the Quicksilver. Come on.
Yeah. And like, you're a human. This girl, like, your intestines
You're
are outside of your
ratty,
body.
you stink. Like, yeah, you're dying. Like, get a grip, girl.
Wait.
Like,
When she takes the first bath and the water's literally black, I was like, wait, no, why aren't we draining the water and then like refilling and doing again? Because now she's just washed in this lifelong filth.
she's not clean. Yeah. So gross.
Yeah.
But I agree with you on him. Like, at the beginning, I was like, when am I going to start liking him? Like, why is he such an ass that he had like no redeeming qualities to me?
Yeah.
And so that kind of hindered his likability to me for a while, like a good while. So then at the point where they start like making out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere, I was like, why? Sorry, like, I'm not into him.
Yeah.
But anyway, obviously she had her other plans to
Yeah.
steal stuff from him. So I was happy when there was actually a reason she did that.
Totally.
But when it happened, I was like, hello? Like, is the
Yeah,
romance
like-
in the room with us?
Yeah. Literally. And I think that's like so perfect because I kind of felt the same way. I was like, I'm not quite sure if this is the point where this should be happening. But I loved finding out that like she had this in her mind the whole entire time. I thought it was great, but I also loved that she wasn't slick. He just like let her do whatever, probably because he was, I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not
bored
going to not make out with you. Like, come on.
Okay, but one thing.
At the end of the day, he's still a man.
Exactly. And a gorgeous looking man. And I don't know. I honestly can't fault her for wanting to climb him. So, but one thing that bothers me so much is their ages. Like, I'm sorry, 1700 years old. That's way too many.
Yeah. And then for them to be like, well, we're not immortal. I'm like, by what? Like,
By what standards? Because I would consider that immortal. I don't know. Like,
what is your definition of immortal? I mean, I guess, sure, like you never die, but like 1700's got to be enough.
no,
Like,
literally.
you
It's
probably
like,
are good on life.
like I was even if she said 700, I would be like, whoa, like that's really old. I mean, people get up in arms because people are 500 years, the male is 500 years older. 1700 is just way, 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 way too many. It felt like she was like, how can I make this so absurd that people are not going to know what to do? And she was like, yeah, 1700 years old. I did not like that part, but I
Wild.
mean,
Yeah.
because then it makes you so far removed. Like when you think about the grand scheme of she's what, 24, 26? I can't remember.
Yeah,
But like,
24 sounds right, but I'm not 100% sure.
yeah, she is literally an infant. And I know that they say that, but it really kind of puts it into perspective how much longer they have been alive than her. Like, I just don't feel like you can fall in love with someone that big of an age gap. I don't know. Like, it just felt crazy to me.
I know. Well, I think him knowing that she is like his mate or whatever at the beginning, like it's not like he fell in love with her. He was just kind of like, damn, like I'm stuck with this person. So I do, yeah, that's crazy. But one thing that I also put in here was that I wish we had learned about what happened at, is it called Gillethry?
I have no idea. I was saying,
it wasn't on the list.
I was saying both of those, Gillethry and Gillethry. I don't know.
Okay. I wish we had learned about like what was happening there a lot sooner, because I think that would have made him more well-rounded as a character instead of just being a fucking dick all the time and like not really having a soft side. And I also want to know like everything that happened in the war. I feel like there's a lot of references to him doing a lot of stuff, which we did learn about, like, the burning of that one thing, but still I want to learn more about him and his, what are they called? Pack? What are they called?
The wolves. I don't know. I forgot. It's like some Latin term.
I want to learn more about him and the Lupo something.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it wasn't just him. Like even Lorith and Ren both. It's like, you did this at the path of wherever, and I don't know. Like we have absolutely no context as to what that is, and I really wish that we would have gotten to learn more about that, because I just feel like an outsider hearing all of that.
That was one part that kind of warmed me to him, was whenever they were in that tavern and they were all like, you're the fisher, this is what you did for me, and you're Lord, this is what I was like, wow, like they actually aren't pieces of shit. They're actually good men that have done good things for people. So that story, that little storyline with them, I need to know more.
100%. I need to know like their background. Maybe she'll do some kind of like prequel book where she talks about like how they fought together. I don't know. But yeah, one other thing that I said that I didn't like was at the ending, they're just like, oh, by the way, we figured out how to remove the Quicksilver from my body conveniently. And I was like, okay. And granted, once Ishabal showed up, I had the exact same thought. Like, she could probably help with this. But I was thinking, like, that would be a storyline for the next book, not, oh, by the time you woke up, like, we already figured it out. And now, like, this just ties up this loose end. Like, wash our hands of it. I didn't like that.
That pissed me off so badly. Well, let me start by my very beginning hypothesis was like, oh my God, she can talk to the Quicksilver. She can coax it out of him. Like, whoop-de-doo. Like, such a big development there. And then she tried. Then she tried, and I was like, oh, there's, like, actually some depth here. Like, we can't just pull it out. It can't just be willy-nilly. And then it was still willy-nilly.
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like convenient tying of loose ends. I wish that she hadn't done that. But she must have just gotten to the end and been like, shit, I wrote this in. But like, don't write it in then. I don't know. I didn't like that. It felt way too like, you need to leave us wanting at the end of the book. And I felt like we do. Like, I'm curious to know what happens next. But like, I do need to be a little bit stressed. And now I'm just like going into it. I don't know.
Everything's kind of like wrapped up with a bow, and there's not really a lot at stake except for Hayden, who, if we want to talk about him, we can. Because I don't have much to say because I don't fucking know him and don't care about him.
Yeah,
like what?
I did think that he was funny at the beginning, and I really liked the dynamic of their relationship. He's just like truly giving little brother, and I don't have a little brother, but I do have a younger brother-in-law, and it's like the same thing. Like you can tell them something, and it's just maddening. Like they just are like, no, I don't want to. And Hayden gives that exact same energy. So
Yeah, he did fit the character of little brother so well from also just from my, I don't have personal experience, but you know what I mean.
yeah,
And so I liked that, but I just like didn't like that it impacted her life so much. I'm like, bro, you're not, it's not like he's 15. He's literally
yeah,
20 or 21 in this book. Like if
yeah,
they would have made him 15, I would have been fine with him being a fucking idiot, but they didn't.
yeah. I don't know.
So
I'm really looking forward to like getting back to him in the next book. But I did think that it was so fucking funny that Fisher came back with Carrie. Are you saying carrion or carry on?
I've been saying carrion.
Okay, me too. That he came back with carrion instead of Hayden. At first, I was stressed, and then immediately I was like, "No, I'm obsessed with
No,
this."
that was the perfect scenario. Like that couldn't
Yeah.
have worked out any better than it did. Like who gives a fuck about Hayden? I wanted more carrion from the beginning. I think I do
Same.
call him carry on sometimes. Maybe I'm just like still stuck on like the carry on
Yeah.
Johnson of it all. War Eagle. But no, like I literally he like just got plopped in and all of the like comedic relief was back. The fact that he was like a blast from the past too was my favorite because he's just like doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna talk about it anyway. Like he doesn't care who's around. So I really enjoyed their dynamic, but I still have a couple questions about their history because at first it sounded like they made it sound like there had been a couple of instances, and then the last one that she left from his room screaming they were never to be seen together again, whatever. But then later in the book, it says that they had sex one time, they hooked up one time, and that was it. So I don't really know exactly their history.
So I was under the impression that it was just once, and it had been like months prior, but he was still kind of like holding it over her, not holding it over her head, but just kind of like brought it up all the time after that, and like would make comments about it every time he would see her. But I was always under the impression that it was just the one time, and she said like it was really good, which makes sense because he's like, I guess thousands of years old and is a fae, and we all know like they're have many talents. But from the moment that we met him, absolutely obsessed. And the thing is that you go in expecting like, okay, this guy's gonna be some like fucker that you absolutely hate. It's gonna be her like in her mortal world, her enemy. But that totally doesn't happen. And so from that moment on, I was like, how is this guy gonna play into the story? Like I'm so curious, especially once she went back to, or once she goes to Evelia. I was like, how is he gonna play in? She did it perfectly. Like I'm absolutely obsessed with his character, with this storyline, every single bit. Like honestly, the plot twist was twisting. I could not have predicted that. Like
No,
at
it was
all.
absolutely perfect. It was perfect. The only thing that I wanted to be different about him is that like he doesn't have to be so stupid all the time. I would have liked it to have been toned down a little bit. It's giving Misha from that other book that we read. And it's just like a little too much all the time because the dumbest person in this book is also the person that just figured out you can just ask the Quicksilver for whatever you want. So there was like a line there that just kept getting crossed. I think there just needed to be a little bit less of the dumb bitch and more of the like, I'm kind of competent, I'm funny. And he can be funny and he can be a little bit like laissez-faire about everything else in life, but you don't have to be so stupid.
Part of me wonders if she wrote him that way to like he was just trying to blend in and not like be suspicious about anything. I mean, I don't know. Regardless, I absolutely loved his character, and I need more. And I also was very happy that at the end we found out like he was glamored and learned about his past and like his mortal upbringing because his grandma, like as soon as we found out that he was actually this, and I could not even think, like I can't even see the last name in my mind, but whatever that royal family was, at first I was like, wait, is the grandma actually his mom, or like how is this working, and like how did he hide his ears, and what about his powers and all of that. I'm so glad that we got that explanation in this book because I would have been absolutely desperate to find out if she had not told it. I
Yeah.
probably would have been mad.
No, I would have been so mad too. I think it was a really good way to like get him assimilated into the story for good. Like now he's not going back to whatever the place is called that they came from, and there's no like chance of him being a character from the past. Like he's here to stay.
Yeah.
So I loved that, and I thought it was really funny. After he got bitten by Malcolm, and he was like, "What the fuck happened?" He was like, "Yeah, it's really rude to interrupt people." Like, like I was getting there.
Oh, slay. He like seriously is so funny. I loved him like from the very first moment. He's like honestly one of my top side characters at this point. I can't wait to read more.
Yeah. Sorry if you're looking on YouTube. I'm like yanking I decided to wear shorts today, and they just keep, I don't know. You know how it is sitting in a pair of jean shorts, like just not comfortable, but I keep yanking on them. So I'm so sorry. I have one more thing to say about Carrion before we move on.
Okay.
I felt, this might be a hot take, but like I felt as if the love triangle was not love triangling. It was a very missed opportunity for a real love triangle, because I live for those. Okay. Which obviously I don't want her to be like mad at Carrion or anything, but at the beginning, I don't know how I got confused that they had been hooking up for a while. I don't know, when did she go like run? Why was she mad at him? I don't remember. I'll have to reread it and figure it out.
I think because he just like taunts her all the time.
Okay. It's giving childish. Anyway, so I just feel like it could have been developed to where it was like truly a love triangle. Obviously, Fisher got mad whenever they were like eating together, and when they were like anytime they were together.
Yeah.
But it could have been played up a little bit more. Like she could have like actually had a crush on him still or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I feel like that was a choice that Callie made. To like me personally, I hate a love triangle. Like if I find out that a book has a love triangle, I probably like won't read it. I really don't like it. So for me, I was glad. But if I was someone who liked that, I would be disappointed that it didn't happen.
I cannot believe this is the first time this has been discussed. What the fuck?
I don't like it because it stresses me out so bad. And this can all be brought back to Twilight. Like, seriously, the amount of stress and like the pressure to choose, were you an Edward or were you a Jacob girl? And I was like, the thing is, I need to be right about this. So I need to make sure that I pick the person who's going to win in the end. And so I chose Edward. Like I didn't read all of the books when the movie first came out. So there's like I read some of the books, but I hadn't gotten like to the last one by the time the movie came out. So I was like, okay, well I have to choose obviously because of like social pressures. And I was like, I'm just going to go with my gut.
Oh my God. The drama of being an Enneagram 1 continues.
I was like, I'm just going to go with Edward and like pray to God that that's who she actually ends up with. Otherwise I'm going to be wrong. And like, how embarrassing is that going to be for me if I chose Edward and she ends up with Jacob? So it's just stressful for me. Like love triangle, I can't be wrong about who she's going to end up with.
I live, eat, sleep, breathe, everything that Callie Hart's characters do for her, I do for a love triangle. Like literally, like I can't get enough of a love triangle. Oh my God. Okay. I can't believe that about you. That's actually insane. Be very, 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 very happy that you did not read Hunger Games then, because I chose and I still stand by my choice. And
no, I know exactly what you're going to say. And Team Gale, like,
yeah,
it's not even
everyone knows,
especially once the movies came out and they put her with PETA and that actor is like has like, so you're telling me that you're going to put a Hemsworth in the movie and expect us to not want her to be with him? Like,
That's my confusion as well. When they cast them, I literally said they should have swapped roles.
no, like, be
Like,
so
if they want
serious. It's crazy.
If they want us to want her to be with PETA, you can't put Josh Hutcherson there against literally a Hemsworth. And he wasn't he like with Miley Cyrus? We were all so obsessed.
Yeah. Yeah. I could not believe. Like, I was actually pissed that when she started liking somebody else, I'm like, no, what about like Miss Girl back home? That's
No, and not even like, oh, which I guess you didn't read, but like even at the end, you're still like, what the fuck about Gail? What are you doing? Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, love triangle, missed out on that. But speaking of men that are hot and funny and sweet and cute, Rin.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
And this might just be a me thing. Did you have like a really hard time reading his name when it was written out, the full name, Renfis?
Renfis? No, not really.
Seriously, it tripped me up every single time. The way I wanted to say Fenris so bad every single time I got to his name.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about Fenris. That makes sense. So you just were saying it.
Yes. It's just like transposed. It seriously was throwing me off so bad. Like, I could only read his name. I had to like start the sentence over every time his full name was in a sentence because I couldn't read it. I don't know what it was in my brain.
That is so funny. I really didn't have that hard of a time, but I remember when I was putting characters down, I just put R question mark at the beginning because I couldn't remember. I was like, his name is something weird. Like, I don't even remember like the shortening of it. But I felt like he was kind of giving Lucian like he played a good role, but he's a little too nice.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, he wasn't like giving a lot, but I still enjoyed him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think that he's really, really sweet. And I'm same thing. Like, I really enjoyed his character. I think that it's necessary for us to know, like, not everybody is an asshole. I would have liked to have seen more of him being like more badass. And he was. They like talked about him in battle. And also like we got to, you know, read about him fighting a good bit. But I just needed a little bit more.
I would like to see it.
Yeah, more ruggedness from him. And I think it's there.
I agree. I think it's there somewhere too. I just, like, we don't know it. I also had a really hard time imagining his character. I don't know if it was just like not described in super detail or what, but like I almost have nothing in my head.
Okay. So when he was first described, because I don't think that she describes him like at all after the first time. So I think that it probably is hard to, but for whatever reason, I like paused to think about how I would picture him in that moment. And so then like it stuck with me, but I really don't think that she gives you many descriptors after like the very first time. And that's probably 15% through the book. So
yeah, I just needed a reminder of like who this man is. I will say it. I mean, obviously he's going to end up with Lane. They've been kind of like secretly, it feels like, together the whole time, and he saves her at the or helps her at the end. And so I'm interested in them as a couple. I kind of like want to see what that has to offer. But Lane, I guess I'm moving on to her.
Okay.
Are you done with him?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I felt like Lane, when she first came on the scene, I was like, oh, this is about to be the person that she's with the whole time during the book. And then she just kind of disappeared.
Okay, same. Like, there was a point in the book that I was like, hold on, like, when are we going to meet back up? Is she going to come? Because she's obviously, like, filling the void or, like, playing the role of, like, I don't want to say that. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But there's, like, a very specific side character in a very popular series that she is very much giving the same energy as that Ashlyn loves. And may or may not have named her daughter after. But I was like really upset.
No, that's insane because I wrote it's giving different side character from a very popular book that I don't like. And it's giving not flavored rice cake.
Also that. I felt like her role was designed to be Susanna's namesake. Ended up being rice cake. It's so sorry that we're talking in code. But
Well,
okay, if you have read
Name take is
ACOTAR,
really funny.
okay, skip ahead 15 seconds if you haven't read ACOTAR. She was designed to be the Moore of this friend group. It's coming off Elaine of the friend group, but I don't hate her, like mostly because we didn't get enough of her to know whether or not we like her. Or, I mean, I like her, but we need more in the next book. I'm very excited to learn more.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more too. I just like at the time that she was captured, I couldn't give a shit because I was like, I don't even know this girl anymore. Like we met her for 2 seconds and she was like super nice, but not very much else. We didn't really get much else of her.
Yeah.
So,
I wanted her to be like badass. Like I kept waiting for her to show up at the war camp and like fight. And we were going to be like, oh yeah, no, she's really got it. Like she's a warrior too. And it didn't happen. So I'm excited to see what she has in store for the next book. I was, however, very sad for her relationship with Fisher because like you can tell that she obviously loves him, but there's like a lot happening there that they need to sort through.
yeah. At the beginning, I was like, damn, is she into Fisher? And then I was like, oh, they're related.
Wait, I thought that was obvious from the very beginning that they were going to be brother and sister.
Yeah, it was like the very, very, very first scene. I was like, oh, damn, not her coming into him. And then it was like maybe a few pages later. It wasn't. It didn't take me long, but I remember thinking it for a split second. And I was like, weird. Never seen a love triangle with two girls that I cared about.
Oh, yeah, no, that I would have a problem with that because I need, they need to be obsessed with me, like the reader as the main character POV, I'm not in competition.
Correct. Yeah, no chance.
Yeah.
Okay, so other side characters that are P-Joms, Lorith.
I love him. I'm so happy. At first when I started reading about him, I was like, I don't feel like it's necessary that we have this new additional side character. I could not have been more wrong. Love, 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 love.
Love. He's everything I wanted Azrael to be. He's literally like perfect warrior, sweet, just like all around a good person, but not somebody I'm trying to fuck with. Like him and that girl in that room one time. What was her name? Daria? Dasha? Danya?
Uh-huh.
Oh, Daria and Dasha are both my co-resident. Sorry if you're listening to this because that girl sucks. But Danya in the room, literally, like, I was like, oh my God, no, he's kind of scary, but why is he here? Like, who is he? And then I was like, oh my God, he's so nice. And he was also just the most forthcoming with her. I felt like everyone else was trying to hide shit from her and just like, no, you're just going to do the alchemist thing and we're going to fix everything else. But he was just open and had normal discussions with her, took her to the tavern. I liked their relationship a lot.
Yeah, same. And I'm so happy that the sword chose him over Daniel. Like he seriously deserved, it could not have worked out more beautifully. And I felt like she wrote that really well, except, and I've said this before, don't give a male character any kind of musical inclination in my books. I hate it. Like seriously, when he started singing that song, if this would have been a movie, I would have had to cover my eyes or like leave the room. I cannot stand it. It makes me cringe so bad. I did think that she ate with the song though. Like I thought that she did a really nice job writing it.
The song was sick. I actually didn't even picture him singing the song because I was just so invested in the imagery of the song that it was like a montage in my head of like memories, and so I really liked it. So but love him.
Yeah, no, like I need so much more of him. I actually would not even mind if he got his own like spin-off after this. Like I love him.
No, same. I love him, and I want him to have a romantic partner.
Same. Like desperately.
I'm ready for that for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
So who do you want to talk about next?
Okay.
We can talk about the evil people, or did you have anything to say about the other side characters like Taylina or Ishabal?
No, I liked them. Ishabal has piqued my curiosity. I really want to see more from her, learn more. Taylina, what was the pronunciation? Is that right? Taylina?
Taylina.
Okay.
T-Lena something. I say Taylena, which is like probably not right either.
Okay. No, I think Taylena is like how you would pronounce it if you were normal, but I think that Taylena is how she wrote it in the book. She doesn't interest me as much. I like her character and I'm glad that she's a part of things, but Ishabal really, because now we've brought in the witches aspect of things, and very, very, very
Love a
curious.
witch.
Same. So curious about that. I loved that there was like a scuffle and Fisher had to go back and like try to persuade her again to come back and help them with everything. But it seems like there's a lot of history there, because she's like, you're like saying all of this stuff about the witches and like it couldn't be more true. Like we have this bad reputation because y'all will not accept like what actually happened. So I'm really curious about that. She obviously didn't play a big role, but yeah, looking forward to what's to come. What about you?
Yeah, same. I really wanted more of her, and especially because she played such a big role at the end where they were like, oh yeah, she's just gonna like pull out the Quicksilver. And but I felt like it was a little bit too easy. Like they just went to this tavern where they thought witches would be hanging out, and there just happened to be one that was powerful enough. It was just, I wanted at least someone else's POV that was present for that, or like a different type of like, not a meet cute, but like, oh, however she enters the story to be more organic, and she just kind of like stumbles her way in.
Yeah.
Maybe she like gets kicked out of the coven and needs somewhere to go. I don't know, something.
Okay.
To where she's like actually a part of the group. Because right now I feel like she's just fulfilling a duty because people needed her help. You know?
Totally. Yeah. No, she's not like reliant. They are reliant on her, but she doesn't necessarily have like a reason to stick around besides her own like carelessness or care. Yeah. No. Her own like willingness to serve and to help. So that's a really good point. So we'll see what happens with her. Okay, so last up, I think we've got our villains. So we can talk as a group. Malcolm, is it Madra, and Belicon. How did you feel?
Yeah. I thought it was so cunty that they all three were just like together like the whole time. Like Belicon was just a piece of shit, like letting all of the people die that were at what was it called? Callie, what's it called?
Kalish.
Yeah, that's right. He was just letting them die to the vampire people. Like he didn't give a fuck. And I loved Madra at the beginning. She's so scary and crazy.
Same. I was obsessed with her. Like,
yeah, I was like, this perfect like blonde little Princess Peach is like evil. Like literally wants to hear people screaming because they're in so much terror. Like I love it.
No, same. She's like psychotic, but like in a funny way.
Yes, I totally agree. And then Malcolm, like vampire, I love. I don't know. I have nothing bad to say about them. What about you? What did you put?
Okay, I like am so happy that Malcolm's dead, but very confused on this point specifically, because they explicitly say like you can't kill one of us, like you have to kill all of us.
Yeah, so how, like I don't understand, which again I keep saying they when I'm talking about literally the author, but like Callie apparently, I guess, is it some sort of loophole that he drank the blood of Carrion and it was one of those people that started the curse. So I don't know if it was just specific to him being a vampire that he actually could die from that. I don't really know, but I agree because they didn't mince words. Like you have to kill them all.
Right. So yeah, now I feel like we're in this limbo, but I felt like the way that he died was so like descriptively written and so like well thought out. It would be crazy if he somehow like came back to life, but also like she did tell us that you have to kill them all. So I don't know, I'm confused about that, and I'm really excited to see, is it Madra? I can't, it's so crazy.
Yeah, I've been saying Madra.
When you read stuff in your head and you've never once said it out loud, then you have to pronounce it.
I know.
It's not the same.
Yeah, that's
yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited to see her again soon.
I agree. For Malcolm, I need more explanation on him calling Kingfisher like my love and talking about playing with him. Are we talking about sexual abuse, or are we just talking about like he's kind of a freak and enjoys torture?
I believe that that's how she was implying it. If so, the next book's going to have like trigger warnings. I mean,
yeah. And I don't even mean that I need like explicit details. I just
totally.
needed her to say one way or the other, is this guy just a freak?
Mm-hmm.
Or is he a freak? Like, is he like scary? Like,
Yeah. I was wondering the same and kept hoping that we would find out, and we never did. I don't know. You can only imagine that, like, now that things have settled down, maybe in the next book, Saris and Fisher have like a more in-depth conversation, or like he has a breakdown. Like, you'll never know all the stuff that I endured in the labyrinth and what all happened. I don't know. It's scary to think about, though.
yeah, we need like a full rundown on the last 100 years of him being in that labyrinth, and just there's so much to learn. I know we were like bitching about everything being wrapped up, but there really is a lot that she can expand on in the next book. So I think there will be good content there.
Yeah, totally.
Good storyline.
Okay, so now that we've thoroughly discussed our characters, it is time to play favorites. So, who was your favorite character?
Okay, I just put literally 3 question marks because I cannot pick one, but I think I would have to put Lorith up there.
Okay.
Like, that man is so sweet. Like, I loved him. And I also think that Carrion, he could have been also in the running if he wasn't like so stupid. What about you?
So he was my favorite.
Yeah, I
I
figured.
just like and it wasn't
The thing is, when I was reading him, I was like, Katie is going to literally eat this up.
Yeah.
Like, she's going to love him.
Yeah, you were so right on that. But also, like I said, this is the first time in so long that I have genuinely loved a female main character. And I thought about putting Saris here. And I think that like feels like a gimme. But for us, like if you've listened to literally any of our other book episodes, you know that we do not.
No, it feels wrong to do that. We don't do that.
Yeah, like we seriously don't put the female main character as our favorite character because they never are the best. But in this instance, like I seriously loved her so much. And
yeah, she was also in the running for me too, because like they all are great characters and they all have potential to be even better. So I'm like, I can't even, I'm sure maybe if there's like 2 or 3 books, I'll be able to pick like a definite, like this is my favorite character. But at this point, like they're all such good contenders.
Yes. Oh, something that I wanted to say earlier is that now that Saris is like turned, so I'm dying to know what her powers are, what all she'll be able to do now. And I can't wait to find out. I don't know. I'm just like giddy, like waiting for this next book to
there's
come
a
out.
lot. Yeah. I'm excited. I don't even know. Like, is it even in the works? This book just came out, so who knows when the second one will even be.
Wait, so I was going to say that at the end, she has said, or it was at the end of my ebook, that the next book comes out in October, like this October. Now, that said, it is not on Goodreads anywhere. So, and like I looked on her Instagram.
It might be postponed, you think? Or
I don't know. Like, I feel like because if this just came out in June and she's saying next book October, like you don't publish in June and say October unless like you know for sure.
Unless you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels like that has to happen, and I'm not going to be surprised if it does get delayed, but that's what she said. So we'll see.
That would be so nice to have a little book to read during spooky season.
Oh, totally.
So, wow. I can't wait for this story to develop. I didn't realize it was going to be that soon.
Yeah. No, I didn't either. And then when
I wonder if she's waiting to get picked up by a publisher. She's going to. There's no way.
This book has like seriously popped off. There's no way she won't.
No, I totally agree. The only thing that I would recommend is like a different cover art author, a cover art illustrator.
Oh my God. Please show them your book.
Okay. So the book that Katie... Well, I had to download it originally. The cover is so fucking bad. Like, I can't even explain it. It's just literally a man with black hair and a sword and like a silver tear. Like, it's disgusting. And so I saw on Facebook the other day, well, before I ordered it, that there was like an alternative cover. And so I ordered that, which it is still just published by her. So I brought it to class to show you guys. But this is the alternative cover.
Bring it a little closer. Let's see it.
Okay. Let me just get my mic up first. So she has all these butterflies all over everything. I'm guessing that's the like little OSHA thing.
Yeah.
And those in the ebook are colored on the chapters, but in the regular book, they're not, just because I mean, this is a budget production.
Yeah.
So back to this. I'm like, oh my God, Katie, like, look, I got this brand new, like, never before seen like, cover. And then I fucking open up the book, bitch. To a twink. Like, literally, what the fuck? And it's not even in color.
No,
it's not even in color.
It's worse. And like Ashley and I were discussing the way that is literally not Fisher.
No. Who was this? Like, who is this person?
That's not him.
No. And the butterflies, we haven't talked about that. Well, maybe we will later.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's about to be time.
It is about,
talk some
it's
shit.
about to be time. We've got one more favorite that we need to say, and then we'll get there. So what was your favorite scene?
You're going to be so fucking pissed.
Oh, God.
My favorite scene was Laura's song.
Ashlyn, ew. Are you okay?
Here's the thing, though. Yes. I'm perfectly healthy. Like, this is a good scene. So he literally does the song. Then he gets the sword. That was like literally a tearjerker. And I was so happy he got the sword. I was like, oh my God, like this is awesome. And then the Quicksilver made everyone forget his song.
No, I loved that they were just like, nope, you said it was just for us, and now it is.
Obsessed. And that, if the Quicksilver is chaos and the twins, that one was the twins, because they are crazy and like that is so funny. Just the development of that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the first time we really saw the Quicksilver's personality as a big part of the story. So that whole montage, like, loved, ate it up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
can't wait to hear it as your least favorite scene. So tell me, what was your favorite?
Okay, so I really like truly could not pick, but top moments for me was Carrion's big reveal. Like, I loved that. And I also loved, I wrote here that the land of the gods was depicted in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But runners up for me were in Ballard, after the little like thing where they like, he has his fit, I guess. I don't know. The Quicksilver's like taken over his mind and she's with him, and then like they have sex that next morning. And then finally after that, he finally starts being sweet to her and she has like the markings all over her hands. I really liked that. And then also for favorite scenes, I put when she finally learns how to forge the Quicksilver and it turns out that it's going to be Lorith's sword. So I'm just like bypassing the song portion of that, but like I really, really liked that part.
Okay.
So I agree with you.
So you agree with me that it is a good scene, and you have so many favorite scenes, but that's good. I'm glad that it all worked out this time.
Yeah.
We have been reading such motherfucking pieces of shit that just the fact that we have to discuss multiple favorite characters and multiple favorite scenes, it just feels right.
No.
We have earned it.
Recording this podcast, like I have been looking forward to it. I've had so much to say. Could not wait to hear what you had to say. It just feels good. But nevertheless, it is time now for us to talk some shit. So, what was your least favorite scene?
Okay, there's this scene where Carrion is talking to Fisher, and I don't know, they're in some sort of like skerfuffle, I don't know, and he calls Sarah Sunshine, and then Kingfisher like goes off the rails. It is so
Cringe,
disgusting. You want me to read it to you? I literally took a screenshot. Okay, so it says, "Don't call her Sunshine," he commanded, and then Carrion says, "Why not?" If Carrion's plan was to poke the bear, then he sure as hell knew how to go about it. But Kingfisher didn't respond to the taunting note in his question. He just cocked his head a little, nostrils flaring, and spoke in a low rumble. Okay, at this point, they have not even fucked, okay? Maybe once. He says, because she is moonlight, the mist that shrouds the mountains, the bite of electricity in the air before a storm, the smoke that rolls across the battlefield before the killing starts. You have no idea what she is, what she could be. You should call her Majesty. At this point, he's still being a literal cunt to her, like making her hate everything. Like every day, she has a terrible day with him. They don't want to be around each other.
It was so...
What do you mean?
It was so
she's
off-brand. Like, if I was her, I'd be like, are you having a moment? Like, did you have a stroke?
Are you having an episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what's going on?
It was so not fitting, and it was also beyond cringe. I literally hate when a male main character does this and like uses all these metaphors to describe. Ugh. Hate. That's such a good one.
Hate. What was your least favorite scene?
Mine, if you know me, makes perfect sense. It's like the very beginning when Heron is stabbing her in the stomach, and it's like in great detail about like how gory, and she's like literally the sword is pinning her to the ground underneath. No, just for like the gore purposes. Hate. But yours is really good too, so I think I might also like, I'm jumping on your bandwagon as well.
Yeah, like that was bad.
Yeah,
that was really bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's one thing about the plot or the book that you hated?
Okay,
or would change, but mostly hated.
Okay, I have a list again, which I feel like I always do, but we have to be critical. You have to look at things with a critical eye, and that's what we've come here to do. So for me, we need so much more explanation of the magic system and also more demonstration of them doing magic. Like, I want to be thoroughly impressed by their abilities. And at this point, the magic is so low on the list of things to be talking about in this book. And it's like, it's fantasy. So come on, step it up. Also don't like the names. I feel like they're way too outlandish. She is going above and beyond to be unique. It's giving Enneagram 4, and I hate it.
I liked Saris, I will say.
Love Saris. That is truly like the only one that I really like. And also felt like it should have been considered sooner to like ask the Quicksilver, hey, how do you work? Like, how do I get you forged inside of the metal? But instead she just like didn't like, that felt like it should have been considered sooner. Okay, and then
oh yeah, I had a question about that. Didn't it say that like none of the prior alchemists could get them to do anything that they wanted? So like no one's ever asked them to do something or like struck a bargain with them?
I don't remember,
because they were like, that means she's the most powerful alchemist ever.
I can't remember. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I can't remember what it was that like she's been the only person to be able to do it. I can't remember. Okay, but did you find in this book that there were a lot of words used in a strange context? Like, it wasn't that I didn't know the word, it was that I had never seen the word used in that way before. Did you come across that at all?
I didn't notice that. Do you have any examples? Or did you write any down?
No, I wish I would have, but there was a lot that I was like obviously, yes, I knew the word, so I could, gather context clues, and I could read the sentence and know what it meant. But there was a lot that I had never heard. That's not necessarily points off. It was just interesting because I found it a lot.
Yeah, I don't think I noticed it.
Yeah. Okay, and then my last thing is at the very end, when they're in the place where like the labyrinth is, and they're like in the big, what's it called? Not the stadium. What's it called?
The Colosseum.
They're there, and Fisher uses he creates a portal to go grab the sword from Bellicon, but it's stated like multiple times, like, you can't use magic here because it's completely dead. So was that a plot hole, or is that something we're supposed to pick up on that's like, he's so powerful that he could use magic even when magic isn't available? Did you realize that?
No, I didn't realize that. I was thinking, Didn't they talk about why the magic started working at the end? Maybe it was after that.
After Malcolm died, yes, it started working again, I believe.
Okay, but that was before he died.
This was before this was like their initial attack. So before they were even like got to the labyrinth, when they're still like on the days, like sitting up with Belicon and Madra. Why can't I remember her name? And Malcolm, and he like uses a portal to go like from where he's at to go grab the sword from his dad, and then comes back. And I just thought that you couldn't use magic at that point, so confused on that.
Yeah, I did not even register that. So good catch. I don't know. I have no clue.
Okay, just curious. Okay,
Yeah,
what about you? What
something
would you
to consider
change?
for sure. Okay, we already talked about this, but she literally sucks at banter. Like, she's terrible at it. She's got to get on it. If you're going to be a fantasy writer and these people are going to be hundreds, thousands of years old, they better be able to they better be witty, you know, like they've seen some shit. So
Yeah.
I think that needs to be a little bit more honed before we move on to the next book.
Okay.
Next thing, like, what the fuck happened in Zilverin when she left? Because Carrion comes back and he's like, no, why would they have killed everyone? And she's like, because she literally said she was going to kill the entire third ward. Like, what
Yeah.
happened? And he's like, nothing. What happened? Like, tell me something. We don't know anything about what happened in Zilverin. Obviously, that's going to happen. Like, we'll find something out next book, but at least a little sliver of information.
I'm desperate to know what is going on there. Like, I need to check in with Hayden so badly and just know. But part of me feels like when she goes back, Hayden's going to be like so happy. Like, yeah, this is great. I'm living my life. Like,
yeah,
not going to want
I'm
to leave.
worried about Elroy, but yeah, like, I don't know. I'm just like worried about those people.
Yeah.
And then obviously the last thing, she's a smut writer. Okay. The romance sector, she has a little bit room. Like, there was room to improve the romance. It was like the first makeout scene is a perfect example because she's like, you can't lie, or he said he can't lie or something. And he was like, ask me a question to like see. And she's like, well, about the size of what about the size of your cock? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's calm down. Let's all calm down a bit. So I think it could have just been a little bit more demure, a little mindful.
Totally.
So anyway.
Yeah. I thought that part was really cringe. Like, why does it have to go?
Yeah. And there was a couple of other things like that too. It was just started to kind of piss me off. So I think that overall those are the things that I would change. But I mean, obviously this is a great book. So
yeah.
Did you have any hot takes about the plot?
Okay. Yes. And what's irritating is that I can't go into detail about this because, like, I'm not going to spoil. But this book is very similar to ACOTAR in a lot of ways. So much so that, like, it was making me feel icky, almost like she pulled exactly from there. And while, like, I understand there's only so many elements to like fantasy books and things that you can play out. So you have to pull from the same things. And every book has something that's the same as in this other book or whatever. This one felt way too much like she was pulling specifically from ACOTAR over and over and over and over and over again.
That way.
Okay.
But now that you're saying it, I guess I see what you mean, because she was in the like forlorn town and then got taken to the Fae world, and then all of a sudden she was like an asset, which she wasn't really an asset. I guess it depends on how you think of ACOTAR, but then it doesn't remind me of the first book. I guess it doesn't remind me of the actual book, but the series,
not the first book.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
And
the entire series,
like people like coming together. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I just did not even like put two and two together. I just, like you said, it's fantasy. So to me, I'm like, oh yeah, it's, of course.
Yeah, of course. Like, they're all going to have specific things and they use different terminology and, you know, they make it work for their specific world. But this one, something would happen and I was like, it's too close to me.
Yeah.
I don't, and maybe that's because I've read a lot of fantasy. Like I actually last weekend, for whatever reason, this is a whole like different thing, but I counted the number of fantasy books that I had read and it was 71. So that's a lot of fantasy books. And so when you've read that many and you come back to one, because ACOTAR was my first fantasy read, when you come back to one and it feels so similar after having read all these books where the authors made it work for their own different world and they made it not be so like the same, which I'm not necessarily complaining because I love ACOTAR, but I don't like, it feels icky to me a little bit.
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess I'll have to think about it more, but I think you could sway me to believe that.
Yeah.
Because there are.
Okay, what about you? Did you have a hot take?
Yeah, I hated how she kind of accidentally accepted the mating bond, and I also don't think that she should have yet. Like if it were up to me, she still wouldn't have by the end of this book. She still would have been in her waiting period or whatever. I was happy whenever he did, don't get me wrong, like I wanted her to have the final say, but I still wish we were kind of like in limbo about that. Like it will, she won't. She obviously, like, everyone will want her to, but I still think it would have been something that she could have spent more time thinking about and developing their relationship further. Because at this point they've like had sex 3 times and like been nice to each other for 1 month. You know, it's just not really the time to decide like, yeah, we're going to be together forever.
Totally. I actually like really think that that's a really good point. It's another example of something else that she wrapped up in this book and didn't necessarily need to. Like she could have kept us waiting with that, and that would have been a really good one. I personally was happy because I was like, whew, one less thing that I have to worry about now moving in. Like they're completely bonded, you know, whatever. But I could totally see that. Like that would have been such a good one to just be worried about until the next book comes out. So I totally respect that.
Agree. So overall thoughts on the book, include your stars for the book and your chilies.
Okay. So for me, I said 3 chilies. That feels right. I could see where this one could be up for debate because there was kind of a lot to work with in this book. So if you're not someone who's used to that much, you might have felt like this was a lot. But I feel like for me, this was pretty like middle of the road in terms of spice. And then I think you're going to be shocked, but I have no choice but to give this book 4.75 stars. And I truly like my only what's it called, like points off was for all the things that like I would have changed, but not even all of those are like bad. It's kind of just things that I noticed. So yeah, I thought it was so good. I think that if once she is traditionally published, like it is over for these hoes. Like nobody has a chance. She's good. It's already like probably the book of the year in terms of fantasy, but like after that, no, like they're done for.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm excited for her. I really hope she gets picked up by a publisher because she could really use a tiny bit of fine tuning or just someone like to kind of bounce ideas off of and stuff.
Yeah.
So because there's definitely room. There's always going to be room to improve, especially when you're on the club. Like we're gonna drag you even if it's 5 stars. So,
Right.
But yeah, I think this was like a really good one. I was just happy to get back to like the Fae after all this time because I'm not reading a ton of fantasy in my personal life. So when I'm reading something for the club, it's kind of all I'm reading. So to have the Fae back in my life, like I can't even express how good it felt.
Oh yeah.
I gave for chilies, I gave 2.5.
Okay.
But I was teetering between that and 3, mainly because like there weren't that many instances. But the reason why I would have given it 3 is because when it did come, baby, it came.
Yeah.
Twice.
Literally.
Like literally, like I was on the plane home whenever I was reading the book, and you saw I have the like big ass book, and I'm reading it, but I'm in a row with 3 people. I literally had to close it, pick up my phone, and find my page on the Kindle Unlimited option, and I literally turned my brightness down to where I could barely read the words because I was like, if someone turns around and they see this shit, like it was. She was spicy. So I think 3 might really be closer to the truth.
Okay.
And then overall, I gave it 4 stars. I think it was really,
Okay.
really well done, especially for her first venture into fantasy and to be self-published. Like, I
Yes.
have to stan.
Totally. You have no choice.
No, I have no choice. So,
Okay. I do have a question for you because so we talked about the second book she says is coming out in October. How many books do you think that this will be / should be? My opinion, I think that she can do it in 2, and I think that that would be a gorgeous series to do it as a duology. But what do you think?
I don't think 2 is wrong. I just would feel happier with 3, but I don't know that there's enough story for there to be 3.
Yeah.
The only thing is that I feel like authors don't really do duologies unless they have a second duology or a third duology. And I don't really like that setup because I'm not really inclined to finish everything usually. So if it's just this series and it was a duology, I definitely would, but I don't think I would read like a bunch more.
Yeah. No, I
So I
agree.
think if
And
she
that's
wrapped
what
up everyone's character in 3 books. Oh, sorry. I did not mean to cut you off. I kind of lost service for a second.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, I was trying to think of like what storylines she has going, and they all feel like they can be wrapped up in book 2. For me, I would be happy with that, but it all is going to depend on book 2, you know? Like I might just be absolutely obsessed and want there to be more. I definitely feel like if she doesn't do it in 2, she has plenty of room to do like other character arcs in, you know,
Yeah.
the next
That's
books.
what if there were 3 books, I would definitely want there to be some sort of POV switch because I really want to know about Ishabal. I would want to know some more stuff about Carrion, and I would definitely want Lorith to all be included in the wrap up. So I
Yeah.
think 3 with no other side character books would be my personal preference, but I don't know. I don't know what she'll do. She'll probably be one of those bitches that does like 6. I mean,
Okay.
she's literally doing 3-book series for smut, so I can't really expect that she'll do less for a fantasy world.
True. You know what we need to do? We need to go to her series that she already has out and look and see how far like spaced out they were from each other, which this
Great
book was pretty
point.
long. This book was 670
600 and something.
pages. You have to imagine that the smut ones were probably less, like probably in that 350 to 450 range, which is what they all are.
But
But
Dirty has a 4.2 out of 5 on Goodreads.
what? How many reviews?
Insane.
How many reviews?
4,747.
So not a lot. I mean,
Oh, it has 4.18 actually. Still.
that's crazy. Maybe she's just like really good. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to check that out.
Crazy.
I like a dark romance.
It's 281 pages.
Oh, they're super short then. I wouldn't be surprised if she released them all within 1 year.
Yeah, she probably did. Okay, that one says March 29th, 2018. And then maybe if I just go to the whole series.
Yeah.
Also 2018, May. So March, May, and July.
Okay. So I do feel like she can do June, October for these books then.
Damn, maybe they do control when she eats, sleeps, breathes.
Literally. That, or she has like a
Live a
really
little.
thorough, yeah, she has a really thorough outline. So it's just like easy for her to just like bang, bang, bang.
Maybe
And
so, yeah.
she's good. Okay. Well, look forward to that. And unless you had anything else, I think it's time to announce our next book.
I would love to. I'm totally in the blind because it's not on the Google Doc. So
I didn't go back into yours and put it on there. So, okay. Now, this book, our book for September, that's crazy, is another one that I've seen all over TikTok. I've again not seen a single bad review for it. I'm a little bit nervous about this one though, because Quicksilver was easy because it was like blown up. This one I would say is popular, and I see it a lot. It has really good reviews on Goodreads. It is shorter. I think it's 380 something pages. So that'll be nice to get a little bit of
Okay.
a breather. But it is The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee. And she has another series, The Coven. Is that right? I can see the book in my head, but it's really popular as well. And I think it's like people
Okay.
say you should read it during spooky season. So we'll
Okay.
see.
Well, if this one's good, then you can just go right into that little
Oh my gosh,
series.
perfect, because it will be like, well, in my opinion, we're already in spooky season on this day, August, what is it, 15th? But that's just me, so I know everyone's
totally,
different.
Totally. So, okay, The Veiled Kingdom, you said?
Yes, The Veiled Kingdom
Wonderful.
by Holly Renee, and we
Is it
shall
KU?
see.
I feel like we've been on a KU streak.
It is
It's
KU, and that's what's so crazy. All these books have been KU, and I'm like loving that for my bank account, especially when you have one like Quicksilver that's like actually good and actually worth it. But I've read several good KUs lately, so
Okay.
shouts out to
Perfect.
the
Well,
girls.
yeah. Thanks, girls. Please deliver me one more because I need another one on my roster of good KUs outside of Ice Planet Barbarians. So, but I think that's all I have for the episode. You got any final thoughts, Katie?
No, this was such a breath of fresh air. I'm so happy that we did this one.
So
And she was a stunner. And I'm with all the girls on TikTok. Like, you really need to read this if you like fantasy. So,
Totally
yeah.
agree. Yeah, this is definitely going to be added to my like beginners fantasy playlist. Like get all of these and read all these first. So, well, thanks so much, guys, for listening to us talk about this for literally hours. We love y'all, and we're so thankful to have you guys listening to our podcast. We're available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your podcasts. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. That would be very helpful to us. And we are also available on TikTok at Girls of the Club. And Instagram, you can DM us if you have any ideas of books that we should be reading this fall. Just hit us up. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you'll have a great rest of your week.
Bye.
Bye.